Alright, so in this tutorial I'm going to talk a little bit more about one other link that's found under the Account tab here, and that is Files. So a couple of things you'll need to understand. There are actually two separate locations that you can place files in Canvas. One is your account, which is going to essentially be your global files. These are going to be files that maybe you haven't found a course for yet, but that you want to keep associated with your Canvas account. It is worth noting that any files you put into this folder here are not accessible in your Canvas courses. This is just kind of a storage medium for those files. So if I click on this here, it's going to bring me to my Files folder. And you're going to also notice that inside of here, I'm going to have several other folders. So My Files, these are the files that are associated with my account in Canvas. These files here in these other folders, these are my course files. So your workflow may be that maybe you have a couple of different files that you're not ready to place in your courses, and those files would then go here in your Files folder. So let me go ahead and show you how easy it is to actually add files to your My Files folder here. Okay, so I'm in the folder, and I can tell I'm in the folder because I can either open it up and see that these listed here are in it. You'll also notice that the square here is around My Files. So if I click on one of these other ones, it's going to change what I see here in the right-hand panel, and that's going to reflect that these files are associated with this course, Sandbox Course 01 for MS Garcia. So let me jump back to My Files. So I've got a folder here that has a bunch of different files that I'd like to upload. So I can either just drag and drop all of these in. So I'll just show you. I can grab all of these and I can just drag them in. And you'll notice that every single one of those files, which is an image file, is going to upload. Now, if I just drop this into the My Files folder, all of these files are kind of free floating. And that's a little messy because I might want to actually keep them all together. So what I'm going to do now is in this folder, I'm going to create a new folder called Icons. So I create it, it's called Icons. And then what I can do is I can either drag these one at a time. So I can grab Unit 1 here and I can drag it into the Icons folder. Or if I want to, I can select multiple ones. And I'm going to do that by holding the Shift key when I select them. That selects all of these, and I can now drag all of these and drop them into the Icons folder. So this is making it easier for me to keep track of these icons. Now let's say that I decided when I start building out my Sandbox course that I actually want to move this Icons folder into my Sandbox course. Well, I can just grab it and drag it. And now that Icons folder has been copied over into my Sandbox course. So now when I click on this, I can now see those icons. And the cool thing is now, if I go into my Sandbox course, okay, so that's going to be this guy here. When I come over to Files, I now have access to those icons. So when I start building out in this course, if I decide to build a page or anything and I need to access those icons, they're right here. It's worth mentioning that if I hadn't moved this folder into the Sandbox Courses folder here, I would not have access to these icons when I click on Files. Okay, so that's the difference between the files that are associated with your account, My Files as they're called, and course files. So if you're working in a specific course and you want to have access to files, you need to make sure that those files have actually been placed inside of that course. Now, it's worth mentioning here as well, if I wanted to upload the icons directly to my Sandbox course here, I could have just as easily drug one of these files, or all of them, into the Sandbox course here, and now that file would also be here. So I don't have to start by uploading those files to My Files. I could have been working directly in a course to upload those files here. So that's essentially how files work in Canvas. Additionally, instead of just dragging and dropping, if you want to find the files, you can also just click on the Upload button here, and it will work essentially in the exact same way. So play around with this and see if you can upload files to your courses or to your My Files folder.